attention, please?
How's it going, everyone? Nerdy American here, who has recently been inspired to start diving into British cuisine. But life is so expensive, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So how am I to get some iconic British staples like fish and chips, beans on toast, and shepherd's pie? It's easy. I'm going to find a good pub here in Pittsburgh and try making it myself using my Harry Potter Cookbook. And so today I'm going to try a dish inspired by one of the best side characters in all of Harry Potter, Neville Longbottom. The dish? Neville's toad in a hole. To understand the dish, we need to first understand Neville as a character. Even though he didn't get much screen time, he will always be remembered for his clutch time bravery and comic relief. So I'm glad that he is the inspiration for the food today. The theme of today's video is going to be glow-ups, or in the case of Neville, leveling up. He's the perfect example, as he went from pudgy dork to shredded while holding his junk Neville. The same way a Charmander becomes an arrogant powerhouse. It's not just Neville though. British cuisine has gotten more love recently after the viral sensation food truck Spud Bros is taking over the internet. Since I am going to be making my own toad in the hole, it will be interesting to see whether or not I can achieve a good end result, or will the one I get from the pub be so much better than the one I make, or level up. I have a feeling it will be, but the only way to know for sure is to just go for it. I've got the beautiful Harry Potter official Christmas cookbook in hand. It appears that it's going to be a really simple recipe, which doesn't mean that it's not going to be great. I mean, some of the best recipes in the world are super simplistic, so why not this one? Why couldn't this one be one of the best things we've ever made in our entire lives? I will be honest, from the name it doesn't sound that appealing. I mean, toad in the hole. That doesn't really sound the most appetizing thing in the world, but from the picture, I think there's definitely some potential here. So to understand toad in the hole, we first need to know what Yorkshire pudding is. And as you can see, it's a simple baked dish. And at some point in the 18th century, people started to add sausage to it, which at that point it became toad in the hole. It's a pretty good looking dish. I don't have any experience with Yorkshire pudding, but I did get to try some popovers at a really nice place in Maine, which are essentially the Americanized version of Yorkshire pudding. So let's just get started and let's see what we can come up with. First thing we're going to do is we're going to actually start making our batter. The batter itself is really simple. Going to be a combination of milk, eggs, flour, and some umami and zesty flavors to make it pop just a little bit more. I'm just following the recipe, so if it turns out bad, well, I'm taking almost zero accountability here. I am an American after all. When all the ingredients are ready to get to know each other, I will oblige them by whisking them together with a fork, since I am unable to find my actual whisk. Where could it have possibly have gone? Is there someone so diabolical and twisted out there that they actually stole it from my kitchen? However, using a fork has done wonders, so now I am preparing our flour mixture, which we will fold the mixture into to create the batter that we are looking for. The only seasoning that I'm going to be using for this step is white pepper and flaky salt. It's no big deal. The goal for the other mixture we made is to carry a lot of the flavor anyways, so, everything's going according to plan. The last thing I would want is to end up with a bland batter, as that is like 90% of this entire dish. Easy enough, the batter is done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to the stove top, preheat the oven, and then we're going to actually get some oil down our cast iron pan, get our sausage into our batter before we bake it. Things are going well. I don't see how I could screw it up between now and the end, but you never know. I mean, let's be honest, with my familiar in hand, there's nothing I can't do. Isn't that right, Biscuit? Isn't that right? Alright, back to cooking. I sent Biscuit on his way. I've always been a dog guy growing up, but that little guy is really changing things quickly for me. So anyways, I'm getting some oil down into the cast iron pan to heat up my sausages. The recipe really didn't specify what kind I should use, so I just grabbed some spicy ones that looked good from my local grocery store. I'm hoping that the type isn't like make or break, because that would be really disappointing as we head for the final stretch here. These kind of look like hot dogs, but I promise that is not how they were marketed. If you look closely, you can even see little specks of, I believe, jalapeno in each one. When they are done cooking, I can move on to adding my batter into the same pan since it's oven safe, and that's where it's going to be heading shortly. But before I throw it in there, I need to make sure that I add my sausages back in as well, in some sort of pattern. I'm kind of just winging it here. The last thing it says I need to do is to place a few larger pieces of sage throughout the batter. I know it's controversial, but I'm actually really excited for the potential HBO Harry Potter TV series, and the reason I'm most hyped is because I really want to see the side characters get fleshed out more on screen. As great as the Harry Potter films were, they obviously made a conscious choice to just primarily focus on Harry and all the things going on around him at all times, because if not, those movies would be ridiculously long. I understand why they didn't do it, but I am excited to see characters like Neville Longbottom get really fleshed out. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for a Harry Potter TV show? All right, everyone, it's done. Now, before you come at me and say this looks a little overdone, well, I agree with you, but I swear I cooked it the way I was meant to, according to the book. Alright, so it's done. Now, I'm not recommending you to do this, but throughout this entire process, I really haven't tasted anything. So I'm definitely going in blind on this, and I'm gonna eat it straight out of the skillet. It actually looks pretty good. Now, I know a lot of toad in the hole recipes call for gravy, so I was surprised this one didn't. A little bit of a bummer. My first thought after the first bite was actually kind of nostalgic. I mean, for what it is, it's pretty rock solid. Now, is toad in a hole the most luxurious thing in the world? Absolutely not. It reminds me so much of just pigs in a blanket, kind of like a tailgate food here in America. I said it was nostalgic, and here's why. I used to eat these bad boys all the time. Not exactly the same, but pretty close, especially without gravy. Can't really be mad at it. All right, not too shabby. I'm actually really impressed with this one. It's not the most glamorous dish in the world, but it was simple, easy, and overall pretty delicious. So you can't be mad at that, at least I'm not. So now I'm gonna journey out to Southside Pittsburgh. I'm gonna venture out into the cold. It's icy, it's cold, but I'm doing this for you guys. We're gonna travel to a traditional pub. It's called Piper's Pub here in Pittsburgh. It's supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to have like pretty traditional like pub food. You got all the shepherd's pies, you got the fish and chips, Guinness, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. If nothing else, I'm excited to have the atmosphere around me. I got to go to Ireland like a few years ago, and that was really fun. And I really enjoyed the atmosphere and the pub life. And so I'm pretty excited to find out there's a high quality pub, or at least allegedly, near me. So yeah, let's give it a go. Like I said, it's cold out there. I'm bundled up. Let's have some fun. Let's go try this dish. Welcome to Piper's Pub. The menu is pretty large and has lots of food that I really want to dive into. The atmosphere in this place was great. People were really getting into the match, and I was really getting into my Guinness. Before too long, my toad in the hole came to me hot and drenched in gravy, just like your mom last Saturday night. So let's be real here. Of course it blew my home cooked dish out of the water. It left me a broken and shameful man. The mashed potatoes on top also didn't hurt its case. This one just felt so much more complete and flavorful. Plus the actual batter came out a lot better too. They basically cooked me. I was defeated, but nonetheless I was happy. And so, with my belly full and my spirits high, I said goodbye to Piper's Pub and I headed home. Overall, my first dive into traditional British food was a success, so let's close out this video. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. The algorithm always appreciates it, which, you know, therefore I appreciate it too. I'll see you next video. Peace.